glass elevator at Morgan Technologies rose smoothly through the gleaming tower, each floor marking another step toward a moment I'd planned for 2 years. I adjusted my simple gray blazer, purchased from a department store, nothing like the designer suits surrounding me in this corporate cathedral of steel and glass. Going up, a man in an impeccable navy suit stepped in, barely glancing at me. I nodded, letting him assume I was just another low-level employee. If he only knew. My phone buzzed, another text from Marcus, my brother. "Where are you? Remember what we discussed. Stay in the back. Don't draw attention. This is my night." I didn't respond. Instead, I watched the floor numbers climb. 38, 39, 40. The top floor boardroom awaited, where Morgan Technologies would be announcing their new senior vice president of operations. My brother Marcus, the golden child, was about to receive the promotion he'd been bragging about for weeks. Growing up, Marcus had always been our parents' pride and joy. While I'd buried myself in business books and studied late into the night, he charmed his way through life with an easy smile and calculated charisma. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" became the soundtrack of my childhood. When I got accepted to business school, Marcus told everyone I was hiding in academia, while he was making real moves in the corporate world. When I completed my MBA, he dismissed it as just paper compared to his real-world experience. The elevator dinged at the 45th floor. As I stepped out, memories of last month's family dinner surfaced. Sarah's still playing at being a professor, Marcus had announced, cutting into his steak. While I'm about to become the youngest SVP in Morgan Technologies history. Mom beamed at him. "We're so proud of you, sweetheart." Some people, she glanced my way, just aren't cut out for the corporate world. Dad nodded sagely. Academic life suits Sarah. Safe, predictable. Not everyone can handle the pressure of real business. I'd said nothing, just smiled and ate my dinner. Let them think what they wanted. They had no idea that while I was hiding in academia, I'd been building something much bigger. Now, walking through the sleek hallways of Morgan Technologies, I felt the weight of the documents in my briefcase. 2 years of careful planning, strategic investments, and quiet negotiations had led to this moment. The boardroom doors loomed ahead. Through the glass, I could see Marcus holding court, his perfectly tailored suit and practiced smile radiating confidence. Our parents sat in the front row, practically glowing with pride. Marcus spotted me and frowned, quickly making his way over. "I told you to stay in the back," he hissed. "This is my moment. Don't embarrass me by trying to network or whatever you're planning." "Don't worry," I said quietly. "I'm not here to steal your spotlight." He eyed my simple outfit with disdain. "Good. Just try to look professional at least, and don't mention we're related." As he walked away, I checked my watch. Right on schedule, Miranda Chen, the CEO of Morgan Technologies, would be arriving to make the announcement. What Marcus didn't know was that I'd met with Miranda many times over the past year, but not about his promotion. The room quieted as Miranda strode in, commanding attention without effort. She took her place at the podium, shuffling her notes with practiced precision. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "thank you for joining us today. We're here to announce some significant changes at Morgan Technologies." Marcus straightened his tie, ready for his moment. "But before we discuss any promotions," Miranda continued, "I have an important announcement. As many of you know, I've been searching for the right person to take Morgan Technologies into the future. Someone with vision, integrity, and a deep understanding of where this industry is heading." She paused, scanning the room. Marcus's smile widened. That search led me to someone who impressed me not just with their business acumen, but with their innovative approach to technology and leadership. Someone who quietly built an investment portfolio that includes controlling interests in 3 of our major competitors. Marcus's smile faltered slightly. This wasn't part of his script. Over the past year, this person has been systematically acquiring shares in Morgan Technologies through various investment vehicles. As of this morning, they've succeeded in purchasing a controlling interest in our company. The room broke into confused murmurs. Marcus's face had gone pale. "Ladies and gentlemen," Miranda said, "please join me in welcoming the new owner and CEO of Morgan Technologies." She turned and extended her hand toward me, Dr. Sarah Mitchell. The silence was absolute as I walked to the podium. Marcus stumbled backward, his carefully planned speech falling from nerveless fingers. In the front row, our parents sat frozen, their expressions a mixture of shock and disbelief. "Thank you, Miranda," I said, taking my place at the podium. The documents in my briefcase would wait. Right now, I had a company to address, and a lifetime of underestimation to correct. The boardroom remained frozen in shocked silence as I stood at the podium. Miranda Chen stepped aside, a slight smile playing at her lips. She had kept our secret well, understanding exactly why this moment needed to happen exactly this way. "Before we continue," I said, my voice steady, "I believe congratulations are in order. Marcus, would you join me up here?" My brother's face had turned an interesting shade of gray. He stood rooted to his spot, designer suit suddenly seeming too tight at the collar. Our parents remained motionless in their front row seats, mother's perfectly manicured hands gripping her purse so tightly our knuckles had gone white. "Marcus," I repeated, letting authority fill my voice, "please." He moved woodenly toward the podium, each step looking like it physically pained him. The whispers had started now, rippling through the crowd as people connected the dots between our shared last name. "As you all know," I continued, "Marcus was to be announced as your new Senior Vice President of Operations today." I paused, letting the tension build. That announcement will still be going forward, though with some adjustments. Marcus's head snapped up, hope and confusion warring on his face. Over the past year, I've had the opportunity to review everyone's performance records, including Marcus's. While his sales numbers are impressive, there have been some concerning patterns in his management style and strategic decisions. I opened my briefcase and removed a folder, watching Marcus's eyes track my movements. Specifically, the Harrison account proposal from last quarter. I held up a document, the one where you took credit for Jennifer Torres's work while she was on maternity leave. The color drained from Marcus's face. In the audience, a young woman in a charcoal suit sat straighter. "Or the Stevens Technology merger," I continued, extracting another file, "where you conveniently failed to mention the massive pension liability that would come with the acquisition, the liability you discovered during due diligence but chose to hide." That's taken out of context," Marcus stammered, finding his voice. "You don't understand how business works in the real world. Sometimes you have to make morally questionable decisions to get ahead." I finished for him. "Steal credit from your subordinates. Hide critical information from the board." Our father stood up suddenly. "Now see here," he blustered, his face reddening. "You can't just walk in here and start making accusations. Marcus has worked his way up through a combination of charm, manipulation, and taking credit for others' work." I cut in. "Yes, I know exactly how he's worked his way up. I've spent the last year reviewing every decision, every proposal, every partnership he's been involved with. I turn to address the room at large. Morgan Technologies has an incredible team of dedicated, innovative professionals. People who work hard, support each other, and operate with integrity. Starting today, those are the people who will be recognized and rewarded. My eyes found Jennifer Torres in the crowd. Ms. Torres, I'd like to meet with you tomorrow morning to discuss your actual contributions to the Harrison Project and your thoughts on leading the new digital transformation initiative. Jennifer sat up straighter, a slow smile spreading across her face as Marcus seemed to shrink beside me. This is ridiculous. Our mother's voice cut through the room as she stood, designer heels clicking on the hardwood floor. Sarah, you've always been jealous of your brother's success. This little power play of yours. Mrs. Mitchell, Miranda interrupted smoothly. Perhaps we should continue this family discussion privately. The board and I have some organizational announcements to make. I nodded. My office, I said, indicating the large corner office that had been prepared over the past week. Now, as our parents and Marcus followed me into the office, I could hear Miranda beginning to outline the company's new direction to the assembled employees. The heavy door clicked shut behind us, muffling the sound. Have you lost your mind? Marcus exploded the moment we were alone. You can't just walk in here and... I can and I did, I replied calmly, taking my seat behind the desk. I own 51% of Morgan Technologies now. Every decision, every promotion, every strategic move goes through me. How? Our father demanded. Where did you get that kind of money? This company is worth billions. I leaned back in my chair. Remember that silly little consulting firm I started during my hiding in academia phase? Turns out there's good money in helping tech companies optimize their operations and identify acquisition targets. I smiled. Very good money, when you do it right. But you live in that tiny apartment, our mother protested. You drive a used car. You shop at department stores. Because I was investing everything into building something bigger, I opened my laptop. Now let's discuss Marcus's new position. New position? Marcus sputtered. I'm supposed to be senior vice president. You were, I agreed. But given the pattern of ethical violations I've uncovered, that's no longer appropriate. I pulled up a document on my screen. Instead, you'll be taking a lateral move to our new Minneapolis office as a regional sales manager. The blood drained from Marcus's face. Minneapolis? Sales manager? You can't do this to me. Minneapolis is lovely this time of year, I said mildly. Though I hear the winters are quite cold, you might want to invest in a good coat. Department stores have some excellent options. Our father slammed his hand on my desk. This is outrageous. We'll fight this. The board won't stand for. The board, I cut in, has already approved all personnel changes. They've known about this transition for weeks. Only the three of you were kept in the dark. I stood up, straightening my simple blazer. You have until the end of the day to clear out your office, Marcus. Your flight to Minneapolis leaves tomorrow morning. First class, of course. I'm not completely heartless. And if I refuse? Marcus challenged, though his voice shook slightly. Then you can explain to potential employers why you were terminated for ethical violations. Your choice. I checked my watch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a company to run. As they filed out of my office, shoulders slumped in defeat, I caught a glimpse of my reflection in the window. The simple gray blazer didn't look so plain anymore. It looked exactly like what it was, the outfit of someone who had worked for everything she had, who had earned every step up the ladder. But my day wasn't done yet. Not even close. Because what my family didn't know was that Morgan Technologies was just the beginning. The real changes, the ones that would reshape not just our family dynamic, but the entire industry, were still to come. I picked up my phone and dialed a familiar number. "Everything's in place," I said when the line connected. Time for Phase 2. 3 months after taking control of Morgan Technologies, I sat in my office reviewing quarterly reports. The Minneapolis weather update on my screen showed heavy snow. I wondered if Marcus had bought that winter coat yet. A soft knock on my door interrupted my thoughts. "Come in," I called, already knowing who it would be. Jennifer Torres entered, carrying a tablet and looking considerably more confident than she had 3 months ago. As the new head of digital transformation, she'd already implemented changes that had increased efficiency by 30%. "The Stevens technology audit is complete," she reported, taking a seat. "You were right about the pension liability being just the tip of the iceberg. We've uncovered at least a dozen other issues Marcus tried to hide." I nodded, unsurprised. "Send me the full report. And Jennifer? Good work." She smiled, the smile of someone who was finally being recognized for their talents. "There's something else. Your parents are in the lobby." I glanced at my calendar, though I already knew it was empty. "Send them up." While waiting, I opened my desk drawer and removed a thick manila envelope. Inside were documents I'd been preparing for weeks, ever since Phase 2 had begun. My parents entered without knocking. Mom looked thinner, her designer outfit from last season showing signs of wear. Dad's golf tan had faded, and his shoulders stooped slightly. "Sarah," Mom started, her voice carrying forced brightness, "we've been trying to reach you." "I've been busy," I replied coolly. "Running a company takes considerable time. Please sit." They settled into the chairs across from my desk, looking uncomfortable. The silence stretched. "It's about Marcus," Dad finally said. "He's struggling in Minneapolis. His performance reports reflect that." I agreed. "His sales numbers are well below target. He's not used to the cold," Mom interjected quickly. "And that tiny apartment. Nothing like his condo here. Couldn't you find something closer? Maybe a position in the Chicago office?" I leaned back in my chair. "Has Marcus mentioned why his numbers are down?" They exchanged glances. Dad cleared his throat. "He says the clients there are different, more demanding." "They're not different," I said. "They just expect actual results, not empty promises and stolen ideas. Marcus can't coast on charm there because I specifically instructed the regional director to verify all his work." That's harassment," Dad sputtered. "That's accountability," I corrected, something Marcus has never had to face before. I opened the manila envelope. "Which brings me to why I've been trying to reach you both as well." Their eyes fixed on the documents I spread across my desk. Property records, bank statements, investment portfolios. When I was reviewing Marcus's financial records, I found some interesting transactions. I continued. "Large transfers from your accounts to his, dating back 5 years. Money that came from mortgaging your house. Twice." Mom's hand flew to her throat. Dad's face paled. "He said it was for investments," Mom whispered. "Special opportunities." "He lost it all," I said quietly. "High-risk trades, failed startups, gambling. The second mortgage payment is due next week. You can't cover it, can you?" Dad's shoulders slumped completely. We We were hoping that I would bail you out, I finished. Like you bailed him out, over and over, while telling me I didn't understand real business. Tears welled in Mom's eyes. Sarah, please. We'll lose the house. I pulled out another document. This is a proposal. Morgan Technologies will purchase your house at market value, clearing both mortgages. You can continue living there, paying rent at 30% below market rate. Their eyes widened with hope. But, I continued, there are conditions. First, you'll both attend financial management counseling. Second, you will not send any more money to Marcus. And third, I met their eyes firmly. You will acknowledge, in writing, how you've treated me all these years. That's blackmail, Dad protested weakly. That's accountability, I repeated. Something this family desperately needs. I stood and walked to the window, looking out over the city. For years, you dismissed my achievements, belittled my choices, poured all your love and resources into Marcus while treating me like an afterthought. I turned back to face them. That ends now. Mom was crying openly now. Dad stared at his hands. The choice is yours, I said. Sign the agreement, keep your home, and maybe, we can build something new from the ashes of what this family has become. Or don't sign, lose the house, and continue enabling Marcus's destructive behavior. I placed a pen on the desk between them. But understand this, I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing this because sometimes love means forcing people to face hard truths. The silence stretched for a long moment. Then slowly, Dad reached for the pen. As they signed, my phone buzzed with a text from Minneapolis. Marcus had finally hit rock bottom, admitting to his regional director that he needed help. I'd already arranged for him to enter a program that would address his gambling addiction and teach him actual business ethics. Looking at my parents, I saw something I'd never seen before in their eyes when they looked at me. Respect. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of understanding. The car will take you home, I said, pressing a button to summon my driver. The counselor will contact you tomorrow to set up your first session. They stood, looking somehow both smaller and lighter than when they'd entered. Sarah. Mom paused at the door. I'm sorry. For everything. I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. After they left, I sank back into my chair and finally let out a long breath. Phase 2 was complete. The family that had dismissed me for so long was finally seeing me clearly, not just as a successful businesswoman, but as someone strong enough to help them face their own failures. Jennifer knocked again, entering with a fresh stack of reports. The board meeting starts in 10 minutes. They're eager to hear about the new expansion plans. I smiled, gathering my materials. Time to focus on the future, not just of Morgan Technologies, but of all the people who worked here. People like Jennifer, who deserved their chance to shine. As I walked into the boardroom, I caught my reflection in the window. The simple gray blazer was gone, replaced by one I'd chosen for myself. Not designer, not flashy, but perfectly suited to who I was. Someone who had built success on substance rather than style. The board members rose as I entered. They'd learned quickly that I was nothing like my brother, and everything a leader should be. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, let's talk about where we're going next. Because success, real success, isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right.